Amidst the whispers of stars that flicker and fade in the endless void, there lies a tale of creatures born not of our world, nor of any world known to humankind. They come not as conquerors with banners unfurled, nor as marauders with plunder in their hearts, but as a tide of hunger and death that consumes all in its path. They are the Tyranids, the devourers of the cosmos. Their origins lie beyond the stars we see, in a galaxy whose name and fate are unknown to us. Perhaps they have consumed their own galaxy, and others besides, for there are those who whisper that the Tyranids have preyed upon 1,000 galaxies, extinguishing millions of intelligent species in their endless hunger. They are a tide of destruction, a plague upon the fabric of the universe, their origins lost to time, and their journey marked only by the ruins they leave in their wake. These creatures are not static entities, rather, they are an ever-changing tapestry of terror, their biology fluid and mutable, bending and shifting to meet any purpose. Each confrontation with a Tyranid is a fleeting success at best, for they adapt with a nightmarish speed, reshaping their bodies and their weapons to the detriment of their foes. The armaments of the Tyranids are not mere inanimate objects fashioned by hands, but living organisms, birthed from the remnants of previous conquests. Their hive fleets do not employ mechanical technology, for such true tools are beneath them. Instead, they wield an advanced form of biotechnology, where each weapon and projectile a creature, a symbiotic extension of the warrior beast that wields it. Flesh melds with flesh in a seamless horror, making it impossible to discern where one organism ends and another begins. This forced parasitism permeates every aspect of their existence. Imagine, if you dare, thinking blood coursing through their veins, organs capable of independent life once severed from their host, and subsidiary brains that carry vital knowledge or serve as backups in the event of the primary brain's demise. Toxicity courses through their very being. Their invasions are heralded by a miasma of spores, rendering worlds inhospitable to all but their kind. Communication with these Xenos is an impossibility. They do not parley, nor can they be reasoned with, appeased or surrendered to. They are a force of nature, devoid of mercy or negotiation. To stand against the Tyranid is to confront the purest form of survival, kill or be consumed. They are the embodiment of an existential threat, a devouring swarm that brooks no compromise, leaving only death and desolation in their wake. The Tyranids are ultimately controlled by the hive mind. It is a psychic amalgamation, an intelligence born of the collective will and instinct of billions upon billions of Tyranid creatures. It is the dark heart of the swarm, driving them with a singular purpose, to devour and destroy. The hive mind's will is not passed through thoughts as we understand them. It does not scheme or ponder as a human mind does. Instead, it is a ceaseless tide of primal imperatives, a grand chorus of psychic energy that binds each Tyranid to its brethren. Under its influence, the Tyranid swarm moves with precision, each creature a cell in a vast ever-adapting organism. It is this nightmarish intelligence that enables the swarm to react with uncanny speed to any threat. Driven by this insatiable force, the Tyranid hive fleets press inexorably into the galaxy. They are not an invading army, but a natural disaster, a plague of locusts on an interstellar scale. Hive Fleet Behemoth, the harbinger of the First Tyrannic War, shattered the eastern fringe of our galaxy, unleashing untold horrors upon the Ultramarines and all who stood in its path. These hive fleets are not composed of mere ships, but of bioengineered leviathans, each with a purpose as defined as the organs within their own bodies. The grand bioships serve as both command centers and biological factories, churning out new horrors to swell the ranks of the swarm. Narvals that harness the system's gravity to create corridors of compressed space-time, allowing Tyranid fleets to move swiftly through space. Cruisers, agile and deadly, scout ahead and engage with the enemy, while mycetic spores, like seeds of death, rain down upon worlds, disgorging their lethal cargo of Tyranids to overrun planets. Every vessel, every organism within these fleets is a testament to the hive mind's dread purpose. From the smallest spore to the mightiest bioship, all serve the singular drive to consume. There is no parley, no mercy to be found in these dark recesses of space. The Tyranids, driven by the hive mind, are a force of nature, an embodiment of entropy and hunger. Not only does the physical come to ruin, but also the mind. The shadow in the warp it's called, the psychic emanation of the hive mind, a presence so potent that it cascades from the Tyranid swarms, like a deluge. When a hive fleet approaches, its psychic power radiates outward, distorting the warp for light years in every direction. This pervasive influence renders Imperial astropaths powerless, their minds clouded, and their messages lost in the void. No call for aid can penetrate this psychic murk, and no ship can safely navigate the warp's treacherous paths. Vessels attempting to enter the warp are hurled off course, floundering in a tempest of psychic turbulence. The shadow in the warp sows more than just physical chaos. It sows terror and confusion in the hearts of those who dwell on prey worlds. This psychic intrusion pervades the minds of all nearby creatures, manifesting as a primal malaise, an unshakable dread that gnaws at the soul. For those with psychic potential, this horror is magnified tenfold. To use their abilities is to court madness, to open oneself to the full, unrelenting force of the hive mind's malevolent will. As a hive fleet draws near to a planet, this psychic shadow spreads like a contagion. Whole populations are plunged into madness and despair, their sanity eroded by the ever-present sense of impending doom. The air itself seems to thrum with the hive mind's psychic pulse. Long before the first Tyranid sets claw to soil, the hearts and minds of the planet's defenders are already laid low. Upon the arrival of a hive fleet at a beleaguered world, the grim process of infestation and consumption commences. The initial phase sees the descent of mycetic spores, each a grotesque vessel bearing the vanguard of the Tyranid swarm. These spores often carry creatures such as lictors. These Tyranid are masters of stealth, able to use their chameleonic skin to blend into the terrain, where they await their prey, slicing into them with their talons and consuming their brains with feeding tentacles. This approach allows them to consume many inhabitants, absorbing their memories and giving the lictor crucial information on the planet's defenses. The spores may also carry gene stealers, who carve their way through the planet with tough and versatile bodies. They can use their ovipositor, a breeding tongue so to speak, to infect hosts with their genetic material. This grim process destroys the consciousness of the host and slowly transforms the victims into fellow gene stealers. With this ability, they can infect entire populations of people, allowing them to gather intelligence on the world and even hide among them for many hundreds of years, awaiting a fleet. The first wave of infiltration is spearheaded by these creatures, guided by a synapse entity, a psychic node within the hive mind's vast consciousness. This leader could be any number of creatures, such as a zoanthrope. This beast is brimming with psychic energy, and can fell even mighty titans and tanks by boiling through their armor with a barrage of psychic power. These synapse creatures are used to relay information directly to the hive mind, and through them the hive mind pushes its will into the Tyranid fleet, allowing these types of entities to act as command forces. As these initial infiltrators carve the path of dread, the reproduction of Tyranid creatures begins almost immediately. The genetic material harvested from the planet's biosphere is rapidly assimilated and repurposed. New horrors are birthed in a relentless tide, each one a living weapon perfectly adapted to the task at hand. The cycle of consumption and reproduction fuels the swarm, an unending process that transforms the very landscape into a breeding ground for further monstrosities. These new monstrosities can be any number of creatures, all of which are determined by the information gathered by their vanguard forces. Here is just a taste of the Tyranid menace, for they number many, and only a few will be named here. The Tyranid swarm boasts within its ranks creatures of staggering enormity and power. Among these colossal horrors is the Hierophant, a bio-titan of such immense scale and strength that it dwarfs all but the mightiest foes. This behemoth is a living siege engine, a walking fortress, its towering form bristling with bioorganic weaponry and armoured in thick chitin that deflects even the most potent of blows. Smaller still, yet equally terrifying, are the war machine-sized creatures, such as the Exocrine, a living artillery platform. The Exocrine is guided by the brain of its bioplasmic cannon, an immense weapon capable of unleashing devastating plasma volleys. Whether discharging a vast searing orb or multiple focus streams of superheated death, the Exocrine lays waste to all in its path. Or, in the skies above, the Haradan reigns as a terror. Equipped with biocannons and a pair of scything talons, it swoops low over the battlefield, slashing through tanks and infantry alike. The Haradan relies on its powerful wings for flight, granting it unparalleled maneuverability. Its lithe, twisting body allows it to evade enemy fire with ease, darting and weaving in a deadly aerial dance. Smaller than the war machine-sized beasts are the monstrous-sized Tyranid, such as Carnifexes, hulking and powerful beings engineered to serve as living, battering rams. These brutes are often armed with the most formidable Tyranid bioweapons, making them indispensable in shock assaults and spaceship boarding actions. Their thick armor and immense strength allow them to smash through fortified positions and tank formations with ease, reducing even the sturdiest defenses to rubble. Equally formidable, yet operating with a more insidious approach, is the Morlock. This enormous, worm-like creature acts as an outrider for the Tyranid swarm. Morlocks burrow deep underground, bypassing enemy defenses to emerge unexpectedly behind enemy lines. Their sudden appearance causes havoc among supply lines, command posts and artillery batteries before they disappear back into the earth to evade retaliation. The only warning of a Morlock attack are the severe tremors that precede its emergence. And the hive tyrants. These monstrous beings are created to serve as the primary synapse conduits, embodying the hive mind's will and enforcing its control over lesser Tyranid creatures. Hive tyrants are immense, towering 3 times the height of a man, their bodies designed to excel in both close combat and ranged fighting. Hive tyrants are highly mutable, displaying a wide range of physical characteristics, biomorphs and bioweapons tailored to the needs of the swarm. They are essentially immortal, their experiences and knowledge stored within the collective consciousness of the hive mind. Should one fall in battle, a new body can be grown, imbued with the same memories and capabilities as its predecessor, ensuring that the hive tyrant's expertise is never lost. Beyond the monstrous Tyranid, there are medium-sized beasts, such as Raveners, designed for fast assaults, surprise raids and swift pursuits. With their snake-like bodies and spade-like scything talons, Raveners can burrow long distances and move over all terrains with alarming speed. What sets Raveners apart is their highly sensitive auditory and visual senses, capable of detecting a broad range of vibrations and energy bands. This allows them to hear the faintest tremors and see energy forms. Thus, they turn the enemy's technology against them, hunting prey by detecting unguarded signals and tracking them back to their origin. Equally specialized are the Tyrant Guards, a species of Tyranids spawned solely to protect a hive tyrant. These living shields are tough, only dimly aware of pain, and nearly impervious to small arms fire. Their iron-hard exoskeletons are covered by interlocking layers of chitinous plates, providing formidable protection. Unique among Tyranid creatures, Tyrant Guards are completely blind, their lack of eyes eliminating a vulnerable point. Instead, they are controlled by the synapse creature they protect, acting as extensions of its will. In battle, Tyrant Guards are unwavering in their duty, absorbing enemy fire and striking down foes with unyielding ferocity. Should their hive tyrant master fall, they enter a berserk rage, brutally hunting down the killers to ensure that no knowledge of the hive tyrant's demise can be shared. Their loyalty and ferocity make them indispensable in the Tyranid hierarchy. Even among the smallest forms of Tyranid organisms, their threat remains profound. The Tormagonts, swift and cunning creatures of the Gaunt genus, individually lacking in strength, Tormagonts compensate with sheer numbers and a keen sense of strategy. They possess a natural cunning, capable of evading enemy ambushes and exploiting vulnerabilities with calculated precision. In the absence of immediate hive mind guidance, Tormagonts prioritize self-preservation, often withdrawing from combat to seek shelter and regroup. Yet, this apparent vulnerability belies their enduring threat. Every shadow and crevice left behind by defeated defenders may conceal a nest of Tormagonts ready to strike upon discovery. And the Ripper swarms. These small maggot-like creatures are tasked primarily with devouring biological material and absorbing the genetic imprint of a planet. In vast swarms, Rippers can overwhelm and consume creatures many times their size, driven by an insatiable hunger that serves the Hive Fleet's overarching objectives. Once unleashed upon a planet, these ravenous hordes rampage unchecked. They voraciously consume every shred of biomass, leaving nothing but desolation. As the relentless feeding frenzy reaches its zenith, Tyranid ships orbiting the planet harvest their accumulated biomass, stripping the world of its vital essence. The once teeming planet is transformed into a lifeless husk, the oceans boil away, and the catastrophic natural upheavals ravage the landscape, exacerbated by the precipitous drop in atmospheric pressure. Only after the planet has been thoroughly drained of its life-sustaining resources do the Tyranid swarms disengage from the system, their insatiable hunger driving them onward in search of fresh prey. The Tyranids stand as an inexorable blight across galaxies, a force unyielding and indifferent to all but their insatiable hunger. In our quest for knowledge, we have peered into the abyss, and the abyss has stared back with countless eyes. The Tyranid are the abyss made flesh, and from that darkness, they have come forth to claim all that we hold dear. As we stand on the precipice, gazing into the starless void from which they emerged, we must confront a terrifying truth. The Tyranids have no home, no origin that we can comprehend. They are a force of nature, an endless hunger that knows no bounds, and they will not stop until all that lives has been consumed.